Welcome back to What Would It Cost? On today's episode, we're with Mikayla Rugala, better known as the Loft Queen. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. It's been long overdue. I've been waiting to get the call.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we're excited to have you because we're really excited to talk about that niche market for the lofts, and it's something that I've grown to learn about through your videos and your social media, and I'd love to ask even more questions. I'm sure the viewers are interested as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so tell us a bit about yourself and what got you into real estate, and then more so into the loft side of things.
Okay, wow. Loaded question. So I've actually been involved with real estate for about 7 years. My father is a residential and commercial investor. I took on the role of doing property management for his properties. And then over the pandemic, I guess a lot of people had a lot of extra time. And I was like, this is the perfect opportunity for me to get my licensing done. So I did that over the pandemic, grinded it out in about 6 months. And then I joined Jake Smith's team. We're very familiar with him, and he mentored me. That was really awesome. And then, he works more so in the rural areas, and I was living downtown at the time, and I really wanted to focus on condos, and I was doing a ton of leases downtown, and I kind of started doing a lot of promo videos and stuff, and I realized that the ones that I was getting the most interactions with and the most leads from were lofts. And I had always posted lofts just in general to encourage more people onto my page. And then it was actually one day that my dad kept saying like, oh, you're the lease queen, because I was doing so many leases. And then just something clicked in my head. I'm like, why don't I just be the loft queen? Because I'm already getting so much interaction with that. And I think also from when I was younger, the first time I ever saw a loft was on Gossip Girl, Rufus Humphrey's loft. I don't know if you guys ever watched Gossip Girl. But I remember thinking like, I'm going to own a loft like that one day. And even when I got my licensing, I'm like, my goal within 5 years is to own a hard loft. And I think maybe that just manifested it into itself that now I specialize with lofts.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, I remember when we were at the reality conference and David was saying, Nick, we need a list of guests where for the new sessions that we're going to start filming, start to think of some, right? And I had you on the list there, and always try to, because your energy and your attitude is awesome, and we always love being in your presence and being able to work with you. But I was like, how do I tie each guest into what it is we're going to go on and speak about? And right away, it wasn't even like a question. It was like lofts, right?
Of
so
course.
It was like, you're really becoming known for that niche and the expert in that area. So talk to us a little bit about how that's helped your business, finding that even micro niche, if you want to call it that, and having people look at you as the expert, and what that involves and how it looks like in comparison to when you were just an agent that said, I do everything.
I guess really the specialization started when I started doing more curated videos explaining the differences of lofts. So we have the soft lofts, hard lofts, and just starting to really educate more and more people. And then once I started pushing out that type of content, that's when I started getting more leads specifically for that. Working with, I don't know if some people get angry when I say cookie cutter, but that's a majority of the units in Toronto. It's just so basic and so boring, and they have all the same appliances. And working with lofts, you need to really educate yourself on it and understand the different features within the loft. I kind of compare specializing in lofts to kind of like luxury real estate, where you need to know those luxury finishes. With lofts, you need to know the different types of brick masonry and the wood trusses, and when was this converted? Why was it converted? Knowing the history behind the different conversion buildings for hard lofts. Like, was it a candy factory before? Was it a toy factory? Was it a Rexall warehouse? Like, there's so many different key things, and I feel understanding that can also help with selling the unit or the space to whoever the client is, or even lease clients too, because they're already looking for something unique, and then creating that story behind it. So I think the way that I position myself on social media to educate people about different spaces instead of just doing a walkthrough tour, like, hey, this is a church conversion loft. This was built in 1812. There's only 10 units here. Each one has different layouts. And I think that just encourages more people to trust me as a specialist as well.
Yeah, no, I like that, because to go to your point about the cookie cutter, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because I agree with you totally. And that's what I don't like about it, is that you can have, okay, this builder's building, 7 towers here. Well, they're all the same. They're all the same size, all the same finishes, which is great. But what I love about the lofts, and what I've learned, again, through your social media, is I love the different looks of them. It's something that's unique. It's something that's custom. Whereas even with a condo, you could purchase it, you can make your own, paint it, all that. But you can't really do anything too crazy like a house, because, again, you're still within that building. Whereas the loft, I found, like, some of them I was looking at from you, is like they're just completely different. It's one of one.
One of one, exactly. And I feel like the clientele that I attract to, for the most part, it's a lot of creatives, it's people in the film industry, and it's kind of like a 2-in-1. A majority of my clients that I've gotten into, for example, hard lofts, they utilize the space also as like a workspace where they can bring in like clients to film or do photography. And where else can you get that in the city?
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
What's the difference between a hard loft and a soft loft?
So a hard loft traditionally is a building that had a previous use, typically a commercial building or like a factory, that's then converted into multiple units. And then a soft loft essentially mimics what a hard loft, like some features of a hard loft. So you'll have exposed ductwork, you'd have the concrete ceilings, concrete floors, but you'd still have those modern finishes, typically with the soft loft. So soft is just like nice on the eyes, and then hard is like rustic, brick masonry, exposed ductwork, and then maybe all of the same features that was there previously for the previous use.
Right. So like real authentic lofts, or like hard lofts.
Yeah.
Right. Got it.
And then there's also different styles. I get yelled at on TikTok all the time about this, because I'll post, check out this soft loft. And they're like, it's not a 2-story loft though, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, well, it still has like the 10-foot high ceilings, because the standard is like below 9 typically. And a lot of people get confused. Like, there's different styles of lofts. Like, a loft isn't just, you can't put a loft or define a loft in just one box. It's like a bunch of different styles, and had to put that out there.
But for people who don't know, what's the key indicator that, like, okay, this is a loft versus a condo?
I would say a unit that has above average high ceilings and is most likely a conversion loft, or it's mimicking what a conversion loft would be.
Right. Okay.
Right. And I've always loved the open concept feel. I know as someone who moved into a loft, on the tail end of me still living at home, I went from a traditional home to a full-blown loft, which was where we started What Would It Cost, right? And where we started filming it. That's where the 2 chairs that me and Mikey were on, we were hosting out of my parents' loft there. But I remember, like, the first couple months, it was a bit of a weird feeling, right? But then when you get used to it, to go back to the traditional homes, like, oh my God, like, no, you know what I mean? Like, I'd much rather the loft, just because I guess it's that whole open concept, the way the functionality of it, and the way it flows, and the way that everyone's kind of together, even though that they're as far apart as they'd be in a traditional home, where if someone's in the kitchen and then someone's in the living room, they might not be able to converse or talk or see each other moving and feel like they're together, because the separation between the walls and whatnot. But I remember my mom would be in the kitchen and we'd be in the living room watching a movie, or we'd be like on the desk doing a little bit of work, or at the kitchen table eating, and someone in the living room, and it's like we're all connected, right? So it's like what really had you gravitate to that space specifically, and what are you seeing in regards to a lot more people that are living in those style of spaces as in comparison to the traditional ones?
So surprisingly enough, more people, at least as of recent, still want the bedroom. Like, that's the biggest complaint that I've been hearing from clients. I absolutely love the open concept, but the bedroom spaces where I personally live in, like a studio style loft where it's all open concept, like I just have 2 walls kind of sectioning off the bedroom, but it's still open. Like, there's no bedroom door. And I feel now that people are working more from home, they want that segregation. But if you get into a loft, let's say that's 1,000 square feet, you can have different areas. Like you said, like how you experience when with your family, having all different areas, but still kind of being all together. What gravitated me towards, do you mean what gravitated me towards just working in that type of?
Like, how did you, like, lofts? That's my niche. What spoke to you? Like, what were it some videos you've seen? Do you have a real personal preference for that kind of space in comparison to your traditional condo unit?
Yeah, I'm
home?
just...
Like,
Yeah, like literally Gossip Girl. Like, I saw it on Gossip Girl, and I'm like, cool. That is where I'm going to be one day. I like things that are different, that just, I hate the traditional feel of homes, and maybe one day when I grow up and, you know, like have a family or something, I'll want a home. But being a single professional working in Toronto right now, it's the best thing ever, because you can have people over. It's still like a welcoming environment, having it open. Yeah, next question.
Just works. It just works.
Yeah, exactly. It just works.
No, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, for sure.
And to get into the social media side of things, so talk a little bit about TikTok, because we're talking off camera, and I don't know, I feel like it's a great platform. A lot of people are still not utilizing it, especially because, you know, we made the joke before about, you know, your buyers are going to be able to buy in 10 years. Because I don't know what the stat is now, but I remember last year the stat we were looking into, it's like 80% of the users are 15 years and younger.
Oh.
But I feel like now it's really picking up with, you know, the little older demographic. I'm on it a lot. I think more than Instagram.
Go. Like you said, you saw me.
Page. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about that, and like what the success has been like, and even like, I know we were talking about the algorithm. Like, what do you feel has been working, not working, just for anybody that's really trying to, you know, start their real estate career on TikTok?
Right. So I cannot speak on behalf of anything in regard to the algorithm. I don't understand it. I tried looking into it. Someone needs to explain, so maybe a YouTube video can teach me.
Yeah.
But what I've noticed that works for me is, and this will sound so strange, the videos that I put the least amount of effort into get the most views. And the ones that I edit that take maybe like 10 minutes get the most views. When I post them at midnight or 2 a.m., get the most views. Like, I'll wake up in the morning and I check the views, and it's like over 100,000. I'm like, whoa. And then another thing is how I guess I start the video off. I've noticed you need to get the best space on the video in the first 3 seconds, or like, I guess it's kind of what do they call it? Like bait. Or there's clickbait almost.
But also the attention span. So if you don't grab them right away, it's like, okay, next.
Exactly. So I want to showcase the best area of the loft. Like, I remember one of the first videos that went viral on my TikTok was this wicked hard loft. And like right when you walk in, there's a shower that's completely open, and then it's right next to the kitchen. And then all of the comments were like, oh, so what if you want to take a shower when you have people over? They can see you, because it's like a glass shower. You can see through it. It's such a wicked unit. And I was like so happy that I made that the first initial, like, I guess, point of interest, like while videotaping and like editing it, because that's what got people's attention, because they're like, what the hell is going on? Whereas some people will just start in a bedroom and it's like, okay, I've seen this on 30 other realtor videos. Like, it's not grabbing my attention. With that being said,
interesting tip.
Yeah. Another thing that I do is I'm very consistent with hashtags. So I also hashtag my brand. So I do like hashtag the Loft Queen. I even do my name too, just in case. I don't know how AdWords work. I'm trying to learn about that. So even if someone just Googles loft specialist anything, I will come up on Google, even though it's like TikTok videos.
Nice.
And I also hashtag like Toronto Lofts, Toronto Loft, GTA Lofts, GTA Lofts, like just really repetitive hashtags. And I find that those definitely help too. Well, they have to, because I keep getting a ton of views. Another thing too, a lot of people, I guess this is a note for realtors, when they go to do video content, don't do the cookie cutter units. Like, go for luxury, go for like really cool lofts or something that wows you. So what I do every single week, whether I'm showing the unit or not, I'll go on MLS, I'll find whatever unit is like a wow factor to me, and then I'll go record it, and then I'll put it up, obviously. And a lot of people post videos of units that just look like every other unit. It doesn't have to be a loft, it doesn't have to be a condo, it's just people are obviously going to just keep scrolling if it's not anything unique. So the thing that I always say to myself each time I make a video, each time I do any marketing, how can I be different? What is everyone doing and how can I do the complete opposite?
Right.
So right now, actually, I'm about to put out a flyer and stickers like all over Toronto, Queen West, and like the areas and neighborhoods of Lofts. And the flyer says, I don't know, can I swear on here? Yeah. It says who the fuck is the Loft Queen? But the U and the C and fuck is blurred. But I saw that I actually stole that idea from someone I saw on flyer for in New York City. And immediately I was hooked. I'm just like, who is this? I want to look them up. And I looked them up and they were an artist. And I thought, why don't I do this with the Loft Queen? All over like the specific areas where there are creatives and stuff where that is kind of my target market. So I'll let you guys know next time how that turns out. But that's, so if you see stickers all over the place, know it was me.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I really like that.
And how do you find the balance of you're so active with the marketing side of things with your videos and with cool creative ideas like, you know, that flyer distribution campaign that you're looking to do, and active in those areas, and then also being able to, you know, take on your clients and show them the lofts and transact and take them to the finish line? Like, you must be
Nick,
go.
Michael, I'm drowning. I am drowning.
Get her some help.
Yesterday I posted in the Facebook Humber like real estate group, I'm looking for an assistant.
Yeah.
Before I used a VA, it wasn't that great. I think I need someone like actually with me to also like, Mikayla, this is what you have to do today. I'm getting so many leads through TikTok, Instagram. I didn't even touch on the Instagram page. Like, I post daily lofts there, or like anything that comes up. And I built that following organically, and I'm almost at 1,000 followers, which may not seem like a lot, but that's 1,000 people in Toronto that are looking at lofts every day, and they want to be bombarded with those listings. So I get a ton of responses from anything I post there, or questions and stuff. And just to have someone help me out to respond to those people, or like even do the onboarding process. Cause like I have a specific system that I set up to make everything very smooth for my clients and just to give them the best customer service. I can't do it all by myself anymore. I'm getting so busy. Like, I'm working with over 25 lease clients right now. I have a partner, Alexa Viana, shout out. She helps me a ton with that. And then all of my buyers are coming out of the woodworks after the new year, surprisingly. Well, I figured that people would come around post interest rate hikes regardless. To answer your question, how am I managing? I'm not really. It's not great, but like, it is great. So
that's good. Those are great growing pains to have. Right?
If anyone listening wants to help me out and be my assistant, please, I'll like leave my email somewhere. Reach out.
Right on. Very cool. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Those are great growing pains to have.
Yeah.
And now you're going to do a bit of scaling and enjoy playing a little bit more of a leadership role as well, right? So seems like you really know what you're talking about, that you've come a long way. I remember when you had first just gotten into the business, we had that meeting there when
we're popping champagne. You guys made me feel so special.
And that now, you know, you fast forward, that was probably a couple years ago now, right?
Years ago,
no, it was literally a year
and a half ago.
Just a year ago, because I've only been licensed. I'm in my second year now.
Okay.
I just hit my second year.
Year. Yeah, I mean, okay. Yeah, maybe a little bit over a year. But but just to see even more so, right? Like that short period of time and how much you've learned and where you are now, right? Congratulations. That's
Thank
awesome,
you.
right? It's a little success story for sure.
Awesome.
It's a bit of imposter syndrome here and there. It's crazy. Even I forgot to even tell you guys, I got a producer who reached out to me from TikTok, and they're like, do you want to be featured on this HGTV show? And I'm like, sure. Nice. And I filmed with 2 episodes a couple months ago. I can't expose the show yet until it airs, but it's going to be in September. But I'm really excited about that, and just to add to the capacity of social media and what it can do for you. It's insane. Huge. Like, post the videos. Maybe you'll go on a TV show like me. I don't know.
That's awesome. Very, very cool.
So what's next for the Loft Queen? You're building like a Loft Kingdom?
Little team. That's okay. One of my biggest fears is someone is going to take the handle the Loft King and just compete against me. So I'm not even joking. I stay up at night about this. I'm like, someone is going to come in left field, attack me and say, I'm taking over. I think I'm going to trademark it though, so they can't. Yeah, I think I'm just going to trademark anything like Loft Queen, King, Prince, Princess. Like it's mine. You like, don't come over here.
Smart.
But the next step, or the next, I guess, aspiration and goal is to actually expand Loft Queen into New York City and hopefully other states in the near future. And I decided to do that because, again, with TikTok, some of the hashtags that I would put is hashtag NYC Loft, just to get on even more, get more of a reach, more views, etc. And I started having a ton of people reach out to me from New York, book calls with me, even Atlanta. I've had people from Chicago, crazy. Like, I'm just like, how did you find me? Through TikTok. And they're asking me, can you help me find a place? And I said, okay, when are you moving to Toronto? Each time they're like, what? What are you talking about? And then I realized, oh shit, like I'm getting these people from all over the place. Why don't I? So my goal right now is to travel to New York at least once a month. I'm partnering up with a realtor there, and we're going to go shoot content. And then I'm essentially going to pass on the lead to them. And then we just kind of work out a collaboration that way. And
beautiful.
Essentially, like my long-term goal is to have a platform, a website where I'm the main designation for people all across North America to find lofts. And maybe I won't have to sell real estate and I just sell the leads. I don't know. Nice. I don't think I'll get out of it for a long time, but that's like the big vision and the big picture. Yeah, I've always just thought keep your goals and dreams really big, and you'll just keep walking down that path and things will pop up eventually and work in your favor.
Absolutely. That's how it works.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Very cool.
Manifestation. I'm telling you, that's how I got here.
Yeah. What are the lofts like in comparison to Toronto lofts that you see in New York or Chicago or different places, let's say in the States where there is some traction?
So I feel like in New York, Chicago, all of these places, there's a ton more of hard lofts, more conversion buildings. They're also way pricier. And I feel, again, I keep talking about the creatives that typically reach out to me. Like, there's just so much more in the States, and I feel like there's just so much more traffic and there's more supply there. In Toronto, there's a ton of demand for lofts, very low supply, which is also very challenging for me too, because I'm working with these incredible buyers and I know exactly what they want and it's so specific, but something like it's so hard to come up. I'm now at the point even door knocking at certain loft buildings saying, hey, I have a client, they will buy your property. We can even do an off-market deal. I'm trying to do the most for some of my clients right now, but it's been very difficult. Whereas I feel in the States, there's so many units available, because even over the pandemic, so many people were moving in and out of the States, or people are always moving around the States, versus Toronto, people just kind of stay in Toronto or they go to the suburbs or like Vancouver or something. At least that's what I've collected based on conversations and trends that I've seen.
Interesting.
Well, it makes sense. Like we were having a conversation with someone once talking about the States, and it's like it's like mini countries within that state. Whereas for us, it's like 50% of the population is below like Sudbury. So it's like if you're not here, if you're not in the downtown core, you're in the suburbs, and that's it. Or the odd ones that are like in Montreal or Vancouver. Whereas to your point, they're moving around a lot. Your career could take you to the next state over and whatnot. So I like that you're talking about that expansion and seeing Chicago, New York, different types. It's
just so developed.
Yeah.
Like the density is there, right? And it's so developed. Whereas if here, like, and we said it on the last podcast, like this is our subway line.
Yeah.
Like, do you ever see New York's, right? It's
I've gotten lost. And it's a movie each time you go into the subway in New York City too. Entertainment, you meet cool people, all different types of people.
So you're going up or down, and that's it.
Interesting stat. The mortgage market here in Canada is $6 billion compared to down there, which is $29 trillion.
Goodbye.
Right? Like
I'm out.
Well, to go to your point, right? Like it's just, there's just so much more there, right? But it would make sense too that a lot of them are hard lofts there, just because those real old manufacturing buildings, when they used to do a lot of that, you know, in the States being converted. That's cool. That's cool. Very cool. Yeah, so Mikayla, it was awesome being able to host you on What Would It Cost. Like I said, the amount of growth that we've seen in the year and a bit from when you first started to where you are now is incredible. I think this would be an absolute fantastic episode for all the young entrepreneurs that are getting into the real estate market or already in the real estate market to watch, because it was very inspirational, and good on you to have found your niche in the lofts and that space. It's special, and we're going to continue to have fun watch you grow. Right?
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
No problem at all.
Absolutely. So just in that camera, let the people know where they could find you, your website, your handles, and
So you can find me at the Loft Queen on Instagram, and then at Mikayla Amber on Instagram as well, and then also TikTok, and then theloftqueen.com or MikaylaRugala.com.
Awesome.
Thanks for watching,
No
listening.
Thank you again. Thanks again for tuning to this week's episode. Be sure to like, follow, share, hit that subscribe button below, and we'll see you next week.